Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate all the support too in my last State of Decay 2 video. So you know we got the open beta going and they finally did a stream yesterday. They released what is coming. What I'm going to do in this video guys is I'm going to show a breakdown of their stream of the most important information for you guys to have, and I will kind of chime in every now and then with my thoughts on certain things. So let's roll the footage guys.
Really kind of all of our business. So are you two ready to start revealing what's going on in the open beta?
I think so.
Let's go.
Okay, well then let's go to this gameplay view here. So I'm sitting here in Meager Valley, one of my favorite adorable little bases, this church here, but you can't really see the new feature yet. To see the new feature, I think we have to open up our map. So
Yeah, this was actually one of the more interesting parts. Look guys, there's like a Clio symbol right there on the map. It's either like a Clio symbol with like a red Talon thing on it or something. I don't know, but this is coming soon. So all right, let's get back
what
into
this
it.
new feature is?
Yeah, so this new thing you're seeing here on the map is plague territory, essentially, is we're calling it. And essentially what it is, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's basically an area around any plague heart that basically prevents you from securing a site, which essentially also means that you cannot claim outposts or a base until you have actually cleared out the plague heart that is creating that territory. It also, it extends the range at which we spawn plague zombies around the plague heart to be that whole territory as well.
Okay, so basically, guys, this is plague zones, right? They call it plague territory, but I'm gonna call it plague zones. The main issue I see with this is going to be like a logistic nightmare for people trying to do outposts. It's one thing, like if you want to claim a base and got to clear some plague cards. I don't think they really understand why people claim outposts in the first place. And so they don't have to lug all their crap home. All right, let's keep going with this.
So heading that direction. Eric, do you want to talk a little bit about sort of our motivations behind like why we decided to work on this particular feature?
Yeah, certainly. So one of the things with State of Decay 2 is that it's a very open-ended game, where it's kind of like it's very player-directed. You kind of like open and kind of do whatever you want, survive, and I mean that's the tagline is how would you survive. So it's kind of up to the player to kind of figure out what they want to do. But one of the things I think you've talked about before, I think, is that we notice in data that we see a little bit of a player kind of fall off after I think around the 2-hour mark. I think it was.
It was 1 or 2 hours, yeah.
And
Let me jump back in real quick. Wow, guys, so after an hour to 2 hours as a player drop off, people stop actually playing State of Decay 2 after about an hour or two. I found that very interesting. All right, let's keep it going.
in terms of engagement, and I know personally I went through a lot of user reviews and professional reviews, kind of getting the gist of like the kinds of things that people in general were complaining about or like wanted to see more of and stuff like that. And one of the things that came up a lot in the reviews was that just kind of like people didn't know exactly what to do. They didn't feel like they had a larger sense of purpose to be striving for, and like a kind of a forward sense of progression. And that's something I think we lost from going from State of Decay 1, where we had like the whole kind of campaign story, into 2, we don't have that same structure. So it's not as clear how you make forward progress anymore. So
Okay, so Undead Labs is admitting that they kind of lost their way somewhat between State of Decay 1 and State of Decay 2, and it sounds like they regret not putting a story into State of Decay 2, which I do agree with. Now, it's a little hard to take this back 2+ years later. At least they're trying to give new players some direction, but I don't even know. A lot of players don't even know how to beat this game, honestly. Like, if you're a new player, they don't even know how to beat it, which I think they're going to talk about here, so...
and like that's kind of how you progress through the game. That was, I mean, and that was also something that came up in like even some of the professional reviews, is that some people didn't even realize that there was essentially a campaign to finish. Like the whole legacy arc and everything, you have to kill all the plague hearts to actually get to that point, and some people didn't even know that was the case. So
Yeah, and so now you can sort of imagine a new player starting up the game, and they get to the on-ramp, and then the first thing they see is, oh, this map is controlled by the enemy. Well, I know what I'm here to do. I'm here to take this map back from the enemy. And it's just it's a very sort of visual, clear motivation that is stronger than I think a lot of the other stuff that we've offered new players.
Okay, one thing I wish State of Decay 2 did from the very beginning was maybe make it clear to players on exactly how to beat this game and give them that sense of direction and purpose. I can't even tell you how many people I know that play this game and they never even beat the game, never even knew how to. And really, the whole purpose to do that is to get your legacy survivors, which I'm still waiting for the feature for that. So we could talk all day, right, about this new feature, and it's just one of ones they're working on. But I would love to see them do something with the legacy survivors. But State of Decay, you guys can't go back in time to try to fix it, even though you're trying now, which I'm going to always give Undead Labs credit because they do try and they react and they communicate with the fans and everything. So I don't want to jump on them too much, and I do like what they're doing. So let's get back into the stream a little bit and see what else they got to talk about.
There's another question I think you can go ahead and answer.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Does this mean you won't see plague zombies outside of plague territory? Does it impact the spawning of freaks? So this is a great segue in. So we haven't messed with the spawning outside of plague territory, so you should still see as many freaks as you would see away from plague hearts as you normally would. So it shouldn't affect the spawning outside of that plague territory.
And yeah, and also just to give plague hearts kind of a semblance of almost organism intelligence, where like the more populated an area is, the more likely that this plague heart was able to manifest there and kind of create a problem for anyone trying to return to that area.
So, Clay Blanc wants to know: will infestations be impacted by plague, plague territory? Like, will it be more common, less common, same distribution as before?
Currently, yeah, they are basically untouched right now. I have future things I want to do with them.
Yeah, we've been toying with a lot of possible ideas for tying infestations into this, but for right now, yeah, we're working just on the one feature, and we'll
yeah, right now we're not making any changes to infestations at the moment. Nothing's committed. But
all right, guys, so you could hear it there. They want like their infestations or their plague hearts to almost have a sense of intelligence, and they do want to do some new things with infestations. And one thing, I thought of and other people did on my last video that they left comments on was, if an infestation is left too long unchecked, it should turn into a plague heart. Because you got to ask the question, right? Like, how do plague hearts even form in the first place? See, I always just assumed that they were infestations that were left unchecked and they turned into plague hearts. So I think a good feature that they could add to this, and it kind of sounds like they want to, like he dropped the hints that they kind of want to, is if they leave infestations too long, they are going to turn into plague hearts. Let me know what you guys think of that idea, if you like it or if you don't like it. Like, I think that would make the map feel much more alive to me, guys. So as I'm playing through my playthrough, I take plague hearts out, but if I don't stay on top of those infestations, they're gonna turn into plague hearts. I really like that. So yeah, that's just me personally. But like I said, let me know.
But Eric's right. There's some more detail to that we're going to be talking about next week when Lucy comes on to tell us what she's been working on.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the other big features we've been working on as well. And that you should tune in next week if you want to know about that.
Players, speedrunners will be like, okay, do I need to play through the tutorial so there'll be fewer plague hearts on the map? That's no longer the case. It's the same number of plague hearts no matter how you get into the map. If you are an Xbox or player, or you've been playing, sort of a Windows Store version of the game, we haven't got an open beta yet for you. Though it is going to be open. That means people can share information about it. They can stream it live. They can, they can share anything that they discover about the game. And so you will be still, up on the news about what's going on. And if you're actually, if you really want to sort of push us to extend this beta into other platforms, just let us know. Talk to us on social media. Make some noise. And it is something we do want to be beta-ing these features as broadly as we can. The reason we went with Steam, a lot of people have asked us, the reason we went with Steam is just because we already had a closed beta running on Steam, and it was just, we had a lot of features we were working on, a lot of big stuff going on at the studio, and, and we wanted to get this beta out quickly and simply with as few problems as possible, and so we went with what we already knew. The closed beta basically converted straight over into an open beta, and it wasn't going to cause us a bunch of problems on top of all the other things we're trying to solve while we're getting this build out into the wild. Next week, our guest is going to be Lucy. She's going to give us a tour of another new feature that's coming in the beta that is very closely related to the Plague Territories, and I think that's it. So why don't we just go to...
All right, guys, if you made it this far in the video, if you could drop a like, that would be awesome, and consider subscribing too for future content. But lastly, I do want to say next week is going to showcase their next big feature, which I will cover. And I did love how if we make enough noise, we can get the beta possibly on Xbox, which I think people would like. That's why I wanted to add it into this video and give you guys as much news as info as I could. All right, that's it. I'm out. Peace.